All right, guys, welcome into the AfterSchrock. Thanks for joining us here. We got some stories we didn't get to on the program today that we can cover here real quick. Don't have a ton of time for the AfterSchrock today, so I can't do my normal 45-minute stint with you, but we can get some stuff covered here, take some questions. The artificial intelligence thing, we could talk about that all day, and the different aspects of that and how it's already in your life and you don't even know it. The things that happen for you automatically. A good example of artificial intelligence is your smartphone knows what zip code you're in, so it can give you an up-to-date weather report for where you're located. So artificial intelligence can be something as innocuous as that. It can also be, remember the robot that beat the chess player? Well, that was an example of artificial intelligence, a very primitive example, because you can program chess moves. That's a reactionary game. Player does this, robot does that. What's more scary is the creative aspect of artificial intelligence. So there's an article I saw yesterday that artificial intelligence can literally create new faces now. So it can create faces of people. They look like real people with backgrounds behind them doing like socially things, yay, whatever, but they're not real. They're fake people. So at first you're like, why would that be important? Then they can also, a lot of the news stories that you read actually online, they're actually written by artificial intelligence. They're not people that write the stories. They're written by robots. So it's an interesting, because a news story is a formula. Where I was taught this in journalism class. You have your lead, your headline. You have your headline, then you have your lead paragraph, and then you have your supporting content and your quotes that go into it. So there's a formula that you can actually follow to write a news story. Then they were talking about bias in artificial intelligence. How do you make sure that if biased people program the artificial intelligence system, is it not inherently biased? Which will be probably the next argument going forward the next 50 years for racism, sexism, everything else. That this is a robot making these decisions. There's no way. Well, who programmed the robot? The racist, sexist, misogynistic guy programmed the robot. So therefore, the robot must be these things too. And in some cases, that's true. In some primitive artificial intelligence, that's very true. In hiring, for example, if you're screening candidates and you give the system criteria to screen on, and you screen the candidates, those criteria can carry bias with them. And so then that bias is carried into the system, and then it systematizes the bias, so that therefore it happens automatically. A human isn't doing it, therefore there's no one to hold accountable for it. It's kind of scary in that way. So automation, there are areas of our lives where automation is it's way past due. For example, government. There are so many aspects of government that could be completely automated. And I'm not talking about automated like go to the website and do your own DMV license plate renewal. I mean automated like you want to be, you're an HVAC technician and you have a license you have to renew. There is absolutely no reason that you have to take paperwork to an office and fill out a piece of paper. That should all be done online. It should all be done without the need to interact. It should all be automatic. Your payment method should be saved. Your continuing education process should be automated so that you go and do the classes and you get credit for it. And then it checks to make sure you've got everything you need for your continuing education, for everything else, and it puts it through. In fact, this system is so easy to design right now. And I shouldn't say easy because it's not easy, but it's within the realm of Schrock Innovations to design this system. We actually bid a job to the city of Lincoln to build a system to do exactly that. And when we presented our software solution to the 5 people that were responsible for making the decision on the system, they were all near retirement age. And literally 4 of the 5 people would have been replaced by the system, eliminating 4 government jobs. Now, in this particular case, people get all upset about, you're eliminating jobs. These are people's jobs. No, these are government jobs. They're different. Government jobs don't produce anything. Government jobs they take resources from people and use them to implement bureaucracy. The bureaucracy itself doesn't create anything. It literally doesn't create any kind of products or services aside from fulfilling the needs of the bureaucracy. If that can be automated, there's no need to take that anymore. So even if you're still going to take the money, let's set that argument aside for now. That allows you to reallocate that money to other things, whether that's feeding the poor or Medicare for all or whatever you want to do with it. That frees up that money for something else because those people are not needed. Those pension plans are no longer needed to be funded. Those people, when they retire, won't be getting a check forever. Like every congressman and every senator gets a check for the rest of their lives. It's ridiculous. So like lawmaking, probably hard to outsource that job, right? But all the bureaucratic parts of it can all be outsourced. And so with that said, there's a lot of jobs that are going to go by the wayside. I was talking, when my son was little, he loved the robotic trash trucks where they'd drive up, and it used to be to run a trash truck, you had 3 guys on the truck, right? So they drive down the street, you had the driver guy, and then you had 2 guys on the back of the truck. And as it went down the street, the 2 guys would go on either side of the street, grab the trash cans, throw the trash in the truck, and then it would be done, right? Well, now, like Papillion Sanitation runs a truck with 1 guy, drives down the street, he has a joystick like a video game, and he literally takes the robot claw, grabs the trash can, pulls it up, dumps it into the bin, puts it down again, opens the robot claw, grabs the next can. So it's just as efficient. He's just as fast. There are fewer injuries at work because the guys aren't actually slinging the trash. No one's falling and they're getting their foot crushed in the compactor or anything crazy like that. You've saved 2 jobs basically, so they're able to deliver the trash service at a much lower price, for example, than Waste Management is in Omaha. Waste Management, of course, you pay for that with your tax dollars because Omaha pays for trash pickup. Lincoln does not. So in Lincoln and Papillion and other cities, you can go and actually shop between the different trash provider services and pick the one that's cheapest for your business. It's a very cost elastic business. If Abe's comes up to me and says, hey, we'll pick up your trash for $5 a month less than Papillion Sanitation, the cost of changing is virtually nothing. So I'll leave Papillion Sanitation, go save my $5 a month, and Papillion Sanitation knows that. So if I call Papillion Sanitation and show them the paper that, hey, Abe's is going to do this for $5 less, they'll just lower my price to keep my business. It's a very flexible job because they're more profitable now because they have automation. Okay, so when you do automation and things like that, one of the things we're doing with our new online system is an incredible amount of automation because humans make mistakes, and my guys are dealing with really complex things, and then there's a lot of bureaucracy that's involved with every computer repair. We have to call customers and ask for passwords if we don't get them up front. We have to, there's the check-in process where you fill out the paperwork and do all that stuff. There is the repair process where the technician takes all of his notes. There's the transcription process where those notes are transcribed into an invoice. Then the invoice is printed, and the front desk has to call the customer and tell them the computer's ready. They have to put a note on there that the customer was actually called. And then that is put in the pickup area. And then it sits, and after 2 days, if it doesn't get picked up, the front desk is supposed to place another call that the computer is ready for pickup, so on and so forth. Here's the deal. How much of that could we actually automate? So the check-in process, you got to have a human there because there's a lot of decoding. Hey, my computer won't boot. Well, why won't it boot? Well, when I push the button, it doesn't turn on. Do the fans and lights come on? There's a little bit of diagnostic work that has to happen at that front desk that yes, you could decision tree that, but that's not what our customers are here for service. We're never going to get rid of the humans on the front desk. We're never going to get rid of the humans on the phone lines because that's what our customers like about Schrock. That's what makes us different. So we're going to keep that. So then you come in, but then what happens is when we get all that information in, the front desk is going to make sure they have a good cell phone number if you have a cell phone and you use it. Otherwise, they're going to make sure they have a good email address and a home phone number. And then from that point forward, when it goes into the back, when it goes up on the bench and the technician starts working on it, we don't provide you any feedback right now. So if we're in queue, customers always ask, how long till it's done? And we're like, oh, about as long as a piece of string, because it depends on how long it takes to fix the guy in front of you. And we haven't even looked at your computer yet to know what's wrong with it. So how can I possibly give you a quote on how long it'll take to fix it until I actually look at it? Well, how long until you look at it? Again, it depends on how, I don't have any open bench spots right now, but it depends on how long the guy in front of you, blah, 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 blah. So what if that whole process now is automated? So you check in the computer, and through artificial intelligence developed by Schrock Innovations, when the technician puts the computer on the bench, the system knows the technician has started working on your computer. So you get a text message saying, the technician at Schrock Innovations has begun working on your computer. Great. When, we start working on the computer, we realize the front desk forgot to get your password. Oh, we need your password. So what if the system immediately said, oh gosh, Schrock needs your password. So it sent you a text message saying, Schrock Innovations has a question. Please give us a call back, 934-9423. and ask for Jimmy, you know? And so before Jimmy is even able, because Jimmy's working on 40 computers at once here, right? So he's making laps around the room. So mid-lap, he realizes you need a password. Ah, shoot. So he says, I need a password. And then he keeps going. And before he gets back around the room to your computer, you're already calling in, because the front desk normally would call you. So Jimmy's got to go to the front desk. Hey, you know, Ariel, can you call Bill and get his password for his computer? Oh, sure, I'll get him. Oh, the customer comes in, another phone call comes in, half an hour later, hey, Ariel, have you got that password yet? Oh, no, I'm on that, you know. But instead of losing that half hour, what if the customer called in because they knew we needed something? Pretty cool. What if the system knew we needed something and asked the customer to call in so they can get their computer back faster, because that's what we all want, right? So then we get the password, we're working through everything. When your computer is done and ready for pickup, the technician is going to call you, or he's going to call you and tell you what you need. If there's anything you need, he's going to give you the report over the phone, like we always do, over the phone from a human being, because that's the service touch that we have at Schrock. But along with that, as things are approved, he's going to check them off on the work order, which the work order, the system is going to say, that's the work order. These are things that are approved. I know what invoice to generate. I generate an invoice based on what is approved. If it wasn't approved, we don't invoice for it. So it goes through and generates an invoice for everything that was approved. So then when the technician is done and he says computer is done, the invoice can be automatically generated. It can be automatically sent to the printer. It can automatically call you. There is a service on Amazon now that we can literally program a human voice with pauses and ums and uhs, and it will sound like a real person even though it's a computer. Pretty crazy stuff, right? So we can automate all these things, and that saves, again, same thing with the Roombas. It saves, well, maybe only an hour a day for a technician, right? But keep in mind, we have 15 technicians that work every day. So that's 15 hours a day we're saving. 15 hours a day is a part-time, or is a full-time plus employee. That's like what, 15 hours, 1.5 full-time equivalents, if you want to talk in governmental terms. So literally that system, if we don't cut any people, right? We just keep the same levels we have now. Our service levels will go up. If we have a position that gets eliminated, for example, or an employee that quits and we choose not to replace them, then we're delivering great service, but the cost has dropped, which allows us to keep our prices lower. We were watching so closely what's happening with the tariffs. I'm going to tell you guys, I just cut a check yesterday for $1,000 in tariffs. $1,000 to get our stuff imported. The stuff that we've waited as long as we could. All these hard drive enclosures don't build themselves, and there's no one in America that will build them for us. So we have to build them overseas in China. And so when we get the hard drive enclosures in to build the solid state modular drives, well, when they come in, it's $1,000 in tariffs on a $4,000 order. Those tariffs are set to go up another 25% or something, just a ridiculous level. We're going to have to start charging a tariff fee, just like UPS charged a fuel fee on hardware purchases, because everything is costing so much more. So, I mean, it's one of those things where if we have an offset where the cost of things are going up, but we can save money by automating, we can maintain the price points we have now, which is what we have done. We haven't had a price increase since 2008, which is pretty phenomenal. So 2008, that's almost a decade, it's over a decade ago. We haven't had a price increase in a decade. Best Buy's cost for a preventative maintenance checkup is $150. Ours is $90. When did we become the low cost leader with great service? That makes no sense. You're not supposed to be able to do that. Well, it's because we've been finding savings in other areas and pulling them in. Savings in marketing, savings in operations. The new Papillion Service Center is half the size of the old Papillion Service Center. We're getting the same amount of work done. The technology got smaller. We didn't need all the extra space. The new Lincoln Service Center is going to be about 500 square feet smaller than the current Lincoln Service Center, but it's going to get all the same amount of work done. When we open a Des Moines Service Center, it's going to be a 1,500 square foot service center instead of a 3,000 square foot service center. That's the pattern we're going to, guys. And it works. And all those savings help us keep our prices low, help us introduce new things. There is no other, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I'm going to toot it a little bit, okay? Nobody else. No other local company in Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, in the Midwest has the online presence and capabilities that Schrock Innovations has? Nobody. Nobody else has programs like Drive Advisor they're developing. Nobody else has programs like Secure Updater that they're developing. All of these things, they cost immense amounts of money. So the Secure Updater, initial cost for developing Secure Updater, the first cost was about $30,000. That was like the concept program. It looked like a kindergartner made it. It was like, wow, but it worked, right? So it was great. We redeveloped that to be compliant with everything and tie it all together with your Schrock accounts eventually and everything. The cost to redevelop all of that was over $100,000. The cost of developing our new online system is going to be close to $150,000. And that's not counting the 2 failed launches that we had on it in the past before we had the talent. That's why we eventually onboarded all the talent. We got tired of finding contractors that got halfway through the project and then quit. Because on the surface, everyone says, oh, how hard could it be? Computer comes in, we build a work order, we build an invoice, computer goes out. No big deal, right? Oh, wait a minute, there's different work order types. Oh, wait a minute, there's different asset types. There's computers, there's hard drives, there's Macs, there's RAID boxes, there's cell phone repairs, there's, oh my gosh, all these different work order types. Oh my gosh, all these different payment methods. There's Visa, MasterCard, Amex, Discover, check, cash, gift card, debit card. Oh my gosh, radio certificate, which is different than a gift certificate and different than a coupon. There's manager discounts, there's marketing discounts. Oh wow, oh, this got really complicated all of a sudden. Oh, you collect information on a customer. How hard is that? Name, address, phone number, email, right? Oh no, name, address, phone number, email, computer type, computer specifications, how much memory, hard drive, what operating system are they running right now, and then work orders for those computers, everything that was done to that computer, historically going back in time, warranties, Secure Updater installations, virus infections. Oh wow, this got really complicated. This isn't worth it anymore. I quit. That's what happened to us twice. So finally, we onboarded the talent. We got Alfonso on staff with Mark there to help him out. And now we've got these amazing things being developed right now. The new online system, this is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of technology that Johnson & Johnson pays companies for. And we're building it right here in Nebraska. That's one of the cool things that we do. So it's so much, we do the radio show, and I love doing the radio show. And we fix your computers, and we love fixing your computers. By the way, our benches are flipping empty right now. Because of everybody is anticipating snow. There's been snow like every other day, and so you're either anticipating snow or you're waiting for the snow to be cleared. So people just aren't bringing their computers in. The flip side of this is they're staying home and breaking them. Okay, so we know after the snow is done, we are going to get punched in the face with repair work. But right now, all of our service centers have open bench spots. I think Papillion has 3 computers on the bench right now. Omaha's got about 10. Lincoln's got about 5. So I mean, we're not dead, but we're sufficiently low on work that my guys are actually cleaning, like for real cleaning. Like maybe we could give the Roomba a break cleaning. So if you have a prepaid maintenance certificate, if you have something that you've been waiting to get done, don't risk your life to come in, obviously. But if you want to bring it in, you're going to get a great turnaround time right now. This is the time of year when we start scheduling for our corporate service agreement. We come out on site to your business and do preventative maintenance. When we're slow like this, we call up our businesses and say, hey, can we come out and do preventative maintenance now? Because we have the available technicians. It beats sending a guy home, right? And then we get to fulfill all the stuff we need to do for our corporate agreement holders. So anyway, so that was the whole gist on the artificial intelligence. It's impacting your lives right now. And it's not all dystopian, like killer robot kind of stuff. Now, there is that branch of artificial intelligence, but there's also the healthcare branch that keeps people alive and researches the human genome to the point where no human would ever been able to. Technology begets technology. So imagine if you're the country that literally, that we've sequenced the human genome, right? But we haven't explored it. There's more data. My son's learning about DNA, and his mind was blown that one piece of DNA, one strand of DNA can hold way more information than any computer can. He was like, "Nuh-uh, fake news," And we're like, "No, for real." But it takes a massive computer to explore that. It takes a massive brain to explore that, or epic amounts of time with a lesser brain. So if we can build a better brain, and we can explore that human genome to the point where we can actually understand what's going on in there fully, imagine the healthcare ramifications that we could have from that. Imagine the breakthroughs in cancer treatments and other things that we could have. Life expectancy is going through the roof. People getting not just more years, but more good years, more working years, more productive years. Just amazing stuff. The U.S. needs to find this first, because you remember the tech boom of the 90s, right? The dot-com boom, which became the dot-com bubble. That dot-com boom, okay, everyone's worried about the deficit right now, which is something to be worried about. $22 trillion is no joke. But the budget was balanced for a short time under Clinton. And the reason it was balanced, in my opinion, I'm trying to keep the politics out of this, forget Republican and Democrat for now. We're just talking about decisions made by leaders, okay? Reagan decentralized everything. He deregulated everything. Under Reagan, we saw the first microchips come into use in kids' toys, like Simon says. You could argue it was late Carter, early Reagan, but that's when it started. That's when the dot-com boom started. If we would have strangled that early tech, like Europe is strangling artificial intelligence right now, we would not have had the dot-com boom. Without the dot-com boom, that budget never got balanced, and instead of $22 trillion in debt, we're probably like $25 trillion in debt or whatever. So when you're looking at the deficit, you're like, how are we ever going to solve this problem? And Trump is saying we're going to solve it through growth, and everyone else is out there saying there's no possible way we can grow like that. Imagine an artificial brain that can think with the power of the entire human race, directed by humans to solve specific problems. Imagine how much people would be willing to pay for that kind of healthcare, for that kind of those kind of healthcare devices. Johnson & Johnson, the baby oil people, building robots. They're not doing it for their health. They're not doing it for their health. They're doing it for their bottom line, because they know this is where it's going. And if you can be in control of that, if you can do that, you are going to be in control of the world. So it's super important we don't strangle these companies, that we allow them to grow, we allow them to flourish, and that we don't allow China to steal the intellectual property that these Chinas are coming. Now here I am complaining about tariffs, right? And on the other hand, I'm saying we can't let China win. We can't let China win. I'll pay the tariffs. I don't like it. Every time I hear Trump bragging about how the Treasury's raking in these billions of dollars in tariffs, it's great. China's paying these tariffs. China's not paying any tariffs. I'm paying the tariffs. Business owners are paying the tariffs. China's not paying any tariffs. So it's kind of one of those funny things. So anyway, there it is. So artificial intelligence, yes, you can be afraid of it. Yes, you can be afraid of big data. But unfortunately, that's the model. That's what's going forward right now. And if you don't, it's one of these games that if you're going to be Europe and you're going to choose to boycott the game and not play, you're going to lose by default. America's going to play the game. China's going to play the game. America, China, Russia to some extent is going to play the game. And those are the three countries that are going to determine the future of the human race. 10 years from now, you are going to see an economic boom that is bigger than anything you've ever experienced ever in the past. It'll make the dot-com boom look like nothing, because the AI boom is going to impact everything, just like the dot-com boom did. The internet touched everything, right? This is going to happen all over again. We're going to boom again. It's going to be great, and it's starting today by deregulation and not strangling these companies. Once that finishes up, and we'll get other presidents that come in after this, they can screw it up. But in the meantime, let the deregulation happen. We'll pay the tariffs. All right. Hey, Mark from Central Nebraska. How are you doing? Morning, Thomas. I live in Central Iowa. And will you ship the external hard drive? Oh, of course we will. You can buy them on our website. You go to SchrockInnovations.com, click on Shop and Specials, and you can purchase the hard drives right there on the website. They're sale priced right now. You can pick whichever one you want, and we'll ship it straight to you. Love my new hard drive you put in the desktop. Oh, I'm glad you like it. People don't understand until they experience it how much of a difference that solid state hard drive makes in a computer. It's just amazing. Hi, Carolyn. We love you in Round Rock. As soon as the lady said she had an Asus cracked screen, I cringed. Yes, Keith. Keith has Asus cracked screen PTSD. Hello again from Northwest Montana. Hi, Brian. Just had to reinstate my EMT certificate, and I actually have to send it in snail mail to the office because that's the way we do it. Isn't that something, Thomas? And there's absolutely no reason for that to be that way. That's the way they do it. I get that. Also, most state technology works on Internet Explorer only. Gotta love that too. So it's yeah, the government is woefully behind in technology. And on one hand, you got to celebrate that, because the day the IRS gets all up to date on technology and gets AI, they can audit everybody, right? They can audit everybody every day. Maybe this artificial intelligence stuff isn't such a good idea after all. All right. Is there any way to put Drive Advisor email addresses in my contacts so it will not get marked as spam? Yeah, basically, if you want to do that, you can add the Drive Advisor email as a trusted contact so it doesn't go to spam. It's no reply at driveadvisor.com. And remember, Drive Advisor is ER, Drive Advisor, DRIVEADVISER, driveadvisor.com. Boy, say something that the AfterSchrock gets more viewers than the regular show right now. We have more people watching right now than we had during the entire show, so it's weird. But maybe it's
extra content.
It could be the extra content, or it could be the it's an hour later.
Well,
people woke up, you know. All right, let's see. When are you coming to the Des Moines area? That's a great question. So basically, we have not started the process of real estate looking yet. The reason for that is we were planning to start that, and then our Lincoln Service Center lease was up. We planned on a textbook renewal. We were just going to renew it and keep going. And our developer came to us and said, listen, we have this new space. It will allow you to have a 21st century service center. It's all glass and brick and really pretty. There's going to be it's a community around it, basically, of apartment complexes built around it. So you'd be like the tech provider for all these hundreds of people who are right here, right within walking distance of your store. It was a really unique opportunity to try something. So we're doing that right now. And once that's done, we're going to start the Des Moines process. So we expect we're going to break ground on construction here in a few months. This developer that we work with, they have all their own people on staff for construction. So when they snap their fingers, it's like, oh gosh, what's his name? Not Ultron. Who's the bad guy in Avengers? Thanos. It's like Thanos snapping his fingers and stuff just happens, right? So the place is going to get built quick. Once we're done with that, we're going to start looking at real estate. Our original plan was to be in Des Moines by Christmas this year. I'm not sure that's going to happen at this point. Staff training takes time. We got to hire in Des Moines, transfer them to Omaha, train them in Omaha, transfer them back to Des Moines. It's going to be quite the process. So we're probably looking at 2020, but we will keep you posted on that. I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll. Oh no. I go on tangents sometimes. I get rolling too fast and I spin out. Verizon spin? Okay, I don't know what that means. I listen to Compute This on KFAB. You know, that's good. You know, people, 1110 KFAB is the home station for Compute This. That's right. All right, guys, I've got to get rolling here. I said I didn't have time to do a 45-minute one, so a 30-minute one I'll have to do. Oh gosh, last night my daughter is starting to get sick, and she's special needs. So when she gets sick, it's a fun ride. So she has warning signs, like she stops eating and drinking. Like she won't eat or drink when she doesn't feel good at all. Even cookies and stuff. We're like, eat anything. Eat potato chips. Eat cookies. Eat anything. Just eat something so you don't get sicker. Oh gosh. So then she gets drainage, and then she coughs on the drainage, then she throws up, and then it's a mess. So she was in our bed yesterday cooking up from about 1:30 on at 100-degree temperature. So we're pumping Motrin into her. She wakes up at 3:30 like it's time to wake up. She gets up and she will not go back to bed. And of course she's sick, and if we get her crying, she'll get the drainage, and then she'll start to throw up, and then we start this whole downward spiral that'll ruin the rest of the weekend. So my wife gets up at 3:30 in the morning with her, and of course downstairs she's running and playing and doing Katie things, which is really frustrating. But my wife's like, okay, she's sick. She's not going to burn the house down. I can probably close my eyes on the couch and take a nap while she's playing until our 9-month-old wakes up. Yeah, so he wakes up at 6:30, and he's up too now. I'm awake. I'm ready to play too. And my wife is like, please just shoot me in the face. No, I'm done. And she let me sleep so that I would be she knows if I don't get enough sleep and I come on the radio, I say stupid stuff. It's kind of funny to listen to. I'll give you a warning that I'm a little loopy because I didn't sleep good. And it's a fun ride. But that means tonight I'll be up for hours with the kids because my wife needs some sleep. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you joining us for the show. Seriously, if you do hear of anyone, if you have friends, family, relatives, enemies that have computer problems, please do send them into Schrock. We appreciate the word of mouth. All the advertising we do in the world is great. But there's never enough. There's always more people you can reach. You start to think like Lincoln is a mature market. We've been there for 20 years. We've got over 20,000 customers in the Lincoln area alone. But Lincoln has almost 300,000 people in it. So yeah, so we got 20,000 of them. Where are the other 280,000? Why aren't they coming to Schrock? So if you have friends, family members, please do tell them about Schrock. Obviously it'd be a little awkward if you just called your brother right now and said, hey, I want to tell you about this company, Schrock Innovations, you see. That'd be odd. But, when it comes up in conversation on my computer's buzzing, my phone screen's broken, where do I go for that? Send them over to Schrock, and we're happy to help you out. Thanks a lot, guys. Just wanted to send FYI, the SSD upgrade took my boot ups from 3 minutes to 35 seconds. That is the power of an SSD right there, Ray. It was 5:30. Sorry, lovely Kimberly. I told her, when I get home, you can go to sleep. And she's like, no, I can't. I don't understand this. I can sleep anywhere. I'm going to sleep on the way home in the truck. Oh, wait. I didn't say that. All right, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see you on Monday. And watch Tuesday. We'll put the video up for Tech Tuesday. I have no idea what we're going to do yet on Tech Tuesday, but I will get it figured out. Backup hard drives are still half off. And if you need instructions on how to set up your backup, maybe you already have a backup drive and you just want to check it. Like if you have a Venture that you bought from Schrock, if you have a holiday special desktop that you bought from Schrock, you have a built-in backup drive. You want to make sure it's running right. So you can watch the video right here on Facebook. I posted it last night. It's about a 4-minute video that shows you step by step how to go through and turn everything on to make sure you're backup and to check it to make sure you actually have a good backup. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk to you again next week. Have a great day.